What happens when a hero's greatest enemy isn't a monster in the streets, but the very memories inside his own head? From psychological traps that rewrite his history to a visual landscape that is literally shattering under the pressure of his choices. John is no longer just fighting the agency or the White Martian. He's fighting a seductive partner who wants to convince him that those choices were always a lie. We've watched John Jones struggle to maintain his humanity while sharing his mind with now two alien entities. But in Absolute Martian Manhunter 11, the war for his soul reaches its absolute breaking point. Hey there, you mean DC fans, and welcome if you're new. I'm Mantis, and today we're going to get into Absolute Martian Manhunter issue number 11. We pick back up with John in a mental struggle, his consciousness housing both the Green Martian and Despair. John is mulling over the fact that Bridget and Tyler both could be under the influence of the White Martian. And making his way through processing that, the Green Martian is trying to help him with reinforcing those positive memories. And likewise, Despair is bringing up the bad ones. One is screaming for hope, the other is whispering the seductive lie of surrender. And John is basically on a battlefield inside his own mind. As he passes a shop called Secondhand, we see John still trying to escape the constant battle in his own mind. The two the good angel and the devil angel fighting on his shoulders. But reality steps to the front in the form of the agency. Seems they found him as they climb out of the cinema posters there on the wall. Now, back at the homestead, Bridget is stuck cleaning up the house. It seems that there are some guests that Tyler invited. They're all drinking and smoking, weird looking. And she's become a slave to the White Martian in a sense, but to her, she just sees it as it's what Tyler wants, and he's doing great. Yeah, great. Now, these guests that he's invited in here, they discuss things, but she can't quite understand them as they're using thoughts and not words. Sometimes she gets a feeling that something is off, but then Tyler reassures her that everything's fine. Here we continue to see that the White Martian's hold over Tyler and Bridget is still strong. Back with John, and he's in a bit of a pickle now. The agencies found him and they start shooting with their metaphorical guns, trying to separate the Green Martian from John. Green fights back, knocking the gun away from one of them and actually gives it to John. And this prompts a Despair to initiate a memory of him almost killing himself. And John knows this was just a low point for him as his partner had betrayed him. And he fights it off, telling Despair to get out of his head and to stop twisting his thoughts. Despair even tries to get us to cut our comic book to prove the Green Martian's goodness. But yeah, I'm not cutting my comic book. Next, G-Man unloads on the Green Martian. Likewise, John has had enough of Despair's meddling and shoots him several times in the head. Unfortunately, they pass right through him and hit bystanders across the street. John has to watch the innocent people die. Then Despair grabs John's head and forces him to watch the Green Martian manipulate the red, white, and blue streaks from G-Man's bullets, tying him up like a puppet and making him fire around into his own head. John can't believe what he's seeing now as Despair tries to show him who the Green Martian really is. We catch up with Bridget walking through her white smoke-filled house, and she seems to remember there being doors, even the windows locked, seemingly by this white smoke. She wants to ask John, but can't quite remember his name due to the white smoke blocking it in her mind. She realizes it's Tyler that's causing this, and something is wrong with him. And just then she smells a green thought, one that leads her through the house and the bad thoughts of the white smoke. That green thought gets through to her, telling her to escape. And that's when she finds a door that has glass panes on it. She's got to escape this house in the clutches here of the White Martian and all these weird creatures. She grabs a hammer and breaks through the glass to escape. Next, we see Green still in a battle with Agent Rainbow as he blasts him with a red beam, continuing the fight. And nearby, Despair is still trying to blame Green for everything. And John says, we're made up of choices. But is that true? Despair leans in and tells John to remember the coffee shop. And we see some of that green smoke guiding John into the shop. This is from earlier on in the series. Was it the Green Martian who made him go there that day? John feels more cracking of his psyche and takes off running, but he can't escape despair. He tells John to think back on his whole life, that in fact Green has been with him since he was born. All the choices John made up until now. Was it actually Green making those for him? John tells Despair, "Why would I listen to you? You're just trying to destroy me." At that point, Green has turned the tables on Rainbow, using his own projections against him as the soldiers turn and fire on him. John is in an execution observation room now. Despair's really digging in. It's a memory of an inmate named Derek, set to be executed, and he's showing John this is what could happen to him if he keeps letting the Green Man control his actions. Agent Lowe is on her phone asking for an evac. After seeing Green eliminate G-Man and Rainbow, she realizes that she's no match for him at this point. Despair continues to make John watch the preparation for the execution, all the while telling him he's part of this, and he's probably even sent a few guys to the gallows himself. John continues to try and resist, claiming it was their choices that put them in the chair and not his. Despair is now ripping at John with the premise that he doesn't really have control over his life or his choices. That if all the trauma, violent death of his brother, poverty, and abuse was removed from Derek, there isn't much a difference to John and him. The switch is thrown, and all the experiences and memories pour out of Derek as he's electrocuted to death. The Green Martian turns to get Agent Lowe, but she escapes into a thought of an "I want you" army recruitment poster on the brick wall. Despair continues to berate John. Why do people do the things they do, is what John always asks. Despair tells him he already knows the answer to that, but refuses to accept it. That free will is a fairy tale. Next, since escaping, that green thought has led Bridget away from the house and through the streets. Even led her to John, who is in a breakdown moment, yelling about Tyler and Bridget, green, white, and blue. Despair lurking over him now puts a big crack into John and tells him Tyler is dead. In fact, he's been dead for months, poisoned by a Choco. John screams out, "No!" You see, all these cracks weren't just in his head, they were also in reality. Bridget now holding John and his fragile mind. Despair is hovering in the back, cackling a menacing laugh. Has John's psyche been destroyed by despair, or can Bridget bring him back from the brink? All right, thanks for watching through that video and following along with me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. This issue, again, we get to see what was actually going to happen with the Green Martian and Despair both being with John. He's got one pulling him one way and Despair pulling him another. Despair likes to twist his thoughts and feelings around, but he does drop an interesting a thought there for John in the fact that if the Green Martian has been with John his whole life, and obviously the Green Martian has powers over people's thoughts and abilities to make them do what he kind of wants, even some of the agents, as you've seen as he killed some of them, was all of these choices that John made led him to this point. Was it the Green Martian making some of those choices, all of them? Or was John involved? And this just breaks John. He can't handle it, especially at the very end there where Despair puts the notion that, Tyler's been dead he's been dead for months, killed by that Choco, which we did see that kind of injection there. I don't really know at this point if Tyler's dead and he's just a puppet for the White Martian, or if it's Despair's just lying to him to try and continue to break him and let Despair gain a hold over John. Bridget's there. She's escaped Tyler, realizes something's wrong, and finds John, and hopefully she can bring him back. But we'll see in the next issue. So, again, if you've made it this far, we appreciate all the subscribers. We made it over 500 at this point. And at that, don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the bell notification so you know when we come out with more Absolute Universe comics. Cal has just put out an issue of the Absolute Green Arrow, issue number 1, and it is great. I can't wait to see what happens next in that. As well as all of our videos doing the news and the all-around DCU information coverage. And until next time, later.